If you've ever tried creating an AI voice agent and wanted to read out an email address, website URL, phone number, or the date and time, you've probably found that it's incredibly difficult to get the agent to pronounce it correctly. It might be speaking too fast for the user to understand, or it could be completely misinterpreting what it's trying to say. Learning prompt engineering is crucial if you want to use AI voice agents in your business or create solutions for others and have them work reliably. My name is Brendan, and I've been creating AI agents for small to medium-sized businesses for almost 2 years at my agency, Inflate AI. I've used various tools to create automation workflows and more recently to develop AI agents with prompt engineering. So in this video, I'm going to be covering several hidden techniques for improving the performance of your AI voice agent through effective prompting. I'll also provide all of these prompt templates for free in my school group, which you can find linked in the description. By the end of this video, you'll be a pro in prompting AI voice agents and getting them to do precisely what you want. To get started, I'm going to walk you through some prompting techniques that we use to get the voice agent to pronounce the time better. So this issue can typically arise when reading the business hours from the prompt or the knowledge base. In some instances, you may type the hours as 7:00 and the AI might repeat this as 7:00 a.m. or 5:00 p.m. and you would rather the AI to repeat it as 7 a.m. or 5 p.m. obviously. This may also work fine. The voice will repeat it correctly, although this is not the most reliable prompt. These errors will show once you start to scale the system and with obviously a larger amount of calls. Additionally, these voice agents read out numbers quite quickly, so we need to convert them to their text versions, which can help slow down their pronunciation. So I'll jump into a prompt and show you what I mean. So jumping straight into Retell AI, I'm going to use this platform for building out our prompt. I've already got a prompt in here. I've just created a demo prompt for like a fake real estate agency. As you can see here, I've prompted it to say, your name is Emily. You're an AI digital receptionist for Blue Real Estate. Your role is to communicate with callers who inquire about our properties. I've added in a bit of a task for the agent, some context about the business, added in some information about the properties associated with this business. It's a really basic prompt here, just to give you the demonstration of how to pronounce things better when it comes to some sort of business information. So scrolling down in my prompt here, if I just go down to my business section where I've added in some sort of knowledge-based information directly into the prompt, some really basic information about the company. I've just added our opening hours are from 7:35 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. I've added in the website address as Blue Real Estate Agents New York, NY.com. And I've also added in contact form, emily.smith at bluerealestateagents.com. And then as well, I've added in this phone number here as well. So we're going to be trying to figure out how to best pronounce this. But before we get started, I'm just going to give it a quick call and ask for the opening hours and just see how it sounds. Hey, I was wondering what your opening hours were.
Hey there. Yeah, so we're open from 7:35 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. If you need anything during those hours, just let me know.
So there you have our first test. It sounded pretty good. There was really nothing wrong with that. It was pretty clear in saying what it said. We can test it once again just to see how it sounds. Hey, what were your opening hours?
Oh, hey. Yeah, we're open from 7:35 in the morning to 5:45 in the evening. Anything I can help you with?
So once again, it's really smooth. It actually works quite well out of the gate as you add it into here directly in the prompt. So Retell has done some back-end prompting to make this sound better for it to understand this. Previously, sometimes when you added in this, it wasn't as smooth as that. It would read it out as 735, or it'd just say AM as am and really not do it quite properly. So they've done some work to make it better. Although we can still improve this. We can make this slightly better. And the main thing that we can improve is the speed in which it reads out the time. So these numbers, given that the output of this prompt is actually outputting direct numbers. So what that means is when this gets sent to 11 Labs, an AI is obviously generating this. ChatGPT or GPT-4o is generating this text. Then these numbers get sent to 11 Labs, and the 11 Labs system uses its voice processing and speech model to use the numbers as its output. But compared to this, what we can do is essentially have these numbers output as text. So instead of 7, the number, we can use 7, the word, and that just allows us to slow this conversation down. And we're going to use this technique and tactic for some of our other areas here as well in the prompt. But we're going to try it out and see if it improves us. So the first thing that I'm going to do is head over to Retell AI's documentation. In their documentation, they've actually got a few prompt engineering tips. So I definitely recommend hopping in here, having a look at some of their tips and just reading through some of the ways in which they're obviously prompting their systems. And this is essentially what it's built on. So definitely recommend it. But for the most part, they've got a pronounce the time correctly section in here as well. And we're just going to use this. We're going to copy paste it and we're going to see if it makes any improvements. So copy it line by line and I can just go through exactly what's sort of going on here. So you get some context as to how this even works in the first place. So out of the gate, it's got state numbers, times, and dates slowly. So just setting the stage here of exactly what we're going to be using this for. So setting numbers, times, and dates slowly. Then it's going to have some examples. This is really critical when you're prompting. You want to have examples. Always want to be using examples to back up exactly what you're saying. You can always tell the AI what what to do, but without examples, it really doesn't give it much help. So you really want to add in examples there. It makes it far more accurate when you start to scale testing for it. So for 1 p.m., say 1 p.m. So now we're looking at text format, not numbers. And then once again, we've got a few more examples. Definitely don't want to just do one example. When you're prompting, you always want to do more than one, as many as possible, really. Any amount of examples is going to help. Obviously covering all the different variations of examples as well. So this doesn't just go for formatting a time, but when you're formatting all different types of things. In this case, we've got 1 p.m., then we've got 2 words, so 3:30 p.m. Then we've even got a hyphen in there, so 8:45 p.m. So 3 different ways that you can pronounce this. They've covered all of it, and that works really well. And I've also got this final bit of the prompt here, which is never say o'clock, instead just say o'clock, never o'clock. So very small formatting. As you can see, a lot of these things can make a big difference in the pronunciation of these things. It's just change it from this to that. So anyways, this is non-negotiable. I'll always say AM or PM. That's just one of the ways they prompted it. Like you saw in that secondary demo that I ran on asking what the opening hours were, it didn't actually say AM or PM. It just said in the morning or in the afternoon. And so maybe that bit of prompting can help clarify things. So let's give that a save and let's see how that sounds. Hey, I was wondering what your opening hours were.
Oh, hey. Yeah, so we're open from 7:35 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. Let me know if you need help with anything else.
Cool, so we'll give it one more try. Hey, what were your opening hours?
Oh, hey. Yeah, so we're open from 7:35 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. Let me know if you need anything else.
So you have it slightly slowed down in how it's pronouncing those words. It might still seem very similar overall, but I guarantee you when you start to scale this system with this prompt, it's going to be far more reliable. And so these are the small little things that you need to look into when you're building up these systems, is to add things like this to really create more deterministic outputs. Obviously, it's not going to follow your instructions 100% all the time out of the gate, but you just got to add to it. And obviously, this is non-negotiable. Always say AM or PM has helped to put that in there and keep it saying the same thing, which is always good when you're making a system and building a prompt to make it more reliable over time. Next, I'm going to explain how to read a website URL better. So usually these agents are quite good at reading out a website address straight into the prompts, although for domains that have abbreviations like a state, for example, New York or LA, it won't really detect this as a state and it's going to read it as LA instead of LA. So to handle this, we need quite a dynamic prompt that will only slow down and space out its pronunciation of particular parts of the address. So we can slow down parts of the URL by telling the prompt to use a spoken form of English. So the letter N would be output as EN from the AI for the voice model to read more accurately. This might seem a bit confusing, so let me show you. So jumping back into our prompt here, if we go ahead and look at our website address in this example, I've gone ahead and stated our website address as Blue Real Estate Agents NY. NY for New York. A lot of addresses have abbreviated words, letters and stuff like that in there. And to pronounce it properly through a voice agent, it's going to require a little bit of extra prompting on top of this. And so the way that we can handle it is obviously through prompt engineering. But first, let's give it a quick test call and see how it sounds. Hey, what was your website address?
Oh, hey. Yeah, our website is bluerealestateagentsny.com. Let me know if you need help with anything else.
So you can see there, it just read out the website address and it sort of said Blue Real Estate Agents NY.com. It didn't say NY. We can test it again and see what it says. Hey, what was your website address?
Oh, hey. Yeah, our website is bluerealestateagentsny.com. Let me know if you need help with anything else.
So once again, you can see it said Blue Real Estate Agents NY or whatever. Obviously not correct. It's not how we want to pronounce it. We're going to have to put in some prompting to fix that. So once again, we're heading back into the Retell AI documentation where they do have, once again, some good prompt engineering tips here. I'm going to go ahead and copy these and see if that makes a difference. So if we go ahead and start putting this in line by line, I'll walk you through exactly what this is doing. So whenever you encounter a website URL, please, and it's got a bit of a column there. The reason it's structured like this is it's actually just saying, this is the starting point. This is the detection point for triggering a set of instructions for website URLs. Essentially how the prompt is going to work. It's going to have context on everything all at once. As soon as it detects that somebody wants a website address, it's going to pick up that this is necessary information, but it is also going to see this as being necessary information, given that there's a website URL tag here. And then it's going to look through this instruction set and follow along as we've set it to do so. Coming back here, we're going to copy this over. So identify each segment of the domain name. So that's critical. Obviously, the issue is that there are different segments in our domain name that are going to be pronounced differently. So we need to identify these segments. Coming back to here as well, what they've got is if a segment consists of individual letters, e.g. NK, pronounce each letter using its spoken form in English. This is really critical. This is pretty much the solution for our problem right here. It's saying if it needs to pronounce N as an individual segment of the domain name, pronounce it as EN. Otherwise, if it's K, pronounce it as KAY. So you can see there, it's going to get context as to exactly what it needs to do. So it's going to work mostly automatically by itself. And given that we're talking about spoken form of English, it should have good context as to what we're looking to do. And then the second part, we're going to say if a segment is a recognizable word, e.g. laundry, pronounce it normally as that word. So obviously it shouldn't be, pronouncing anything out of the ordinary. Just do that properly. So that's fine. Fix that issue there. Next part of the prompt is pronounce dot before stating the top level domain name, e.g. .com, .net, .org, etc. So I suppose this is just helping out in the pronunciation. Some obviously websites, well, every website has a .com, a .net, .org, .whatever. Having that pronounced properly is pretty critical as well. Sometimes you'll notice when listening to reading out even an email or a website address that the dot, it does quite weirdly, or it doesn't do it properly, or it does it too quickly. And this can help out definitely to fix that. And then once again, right below this, we're going to add in some examples. So we'll add in example, got a bit of a heading there. Grab the bottom example they're using, nklaundry.com as nklaundry.com. So you can see that it's pronouncing it in the spoken form of English to really pronounce that properly. And that's going to really help out. Once again, putting examples into your prompt is super critical to making it better. Adding in these examples is really the only way to get these systems to be more reliable at scale. If you don't have examples, it's very hard for it to stick to one set of instructions. It's hard for it to stick to doing the right thing because it doesn't know. And it's just going to get a lot more context as to exactly what you want. There's really no better way to communicate what it wants you to output other than doing this. So you can see xyzco.org, see how complex that domain would be for the AI to read. And it's just breaking up xyzco.org, and that's going to work really well. And then once again, and we'll just copy in this last part of the prompt, which is adhere to this phonetic breakdown carefully to ensure clarity and proper pronunciation for customers. So this is really a part of the prompt that's actually tailoring itself for more of the emotional side of prompting, where you're getting a bit more, you must adhere to this. So it's a bit more strict prompting. You've got to break it down carefully. You've got to make sure that it's clear, clarity. You've got to have proper pronunciation for our customers. Stuff like this can really get a prompt to do what you want it to. And that's a really good way to improve our reliability. So we'll save that and just see if that makes a difference. Hey, what's your website address?
Hey there. Our website address is bluerealestateagentsny.com. You can check it out for more info on our properties and services. Let me know if you need anything else.
So there you go. Read it out perfectly, did exactly what we wanted to, broke it down and split up the conversation, or split up the domain name in that case, and read it out perfectly. So hopefully that's a really good example for you as how to really control the conversation, control the outputs, just slow down, speed up, pronounce different things differently. You can do this all through prompting it. Next, let's tackle how to pronounce phone numbers better. If you simply include a phone number into the prompt, it actually does quite a good job of recognizing that it is a phone number and pronouncing it well. Although if someone is trying to take down the phone number, the AI will read it way too fast for someone to capture the number, and it really won't be a great experience. So to fix this, we need to build a prompt to change the way in which the phone number is output into text form. Currently, the way the system works is that the phone number will output itself as a series of numbers, and these numbers will get sent to the ElevenLabs speech model and then output again. It does a good job at not reading out the phone number as a plain number, although we still need to slow it down for someone to actually capture this. So we can do this by prompting it to output as text variants of the number. So instead of number 1, we'll output the word 1, O-N-E. So let me show you what I mean. So jumping into our contact section of the prompt here, you'll see we have phone number right here, just below the email, 352-083-9668. We'll give it a test call and see how it pronounces it. Hey, I was wondering if I could get your contact phone number.
Oh, hey there. Yeah, of course. So you can reach us at 352-083-9668. Let me know if you need anything else.
So you can see that it actually worked really well. It actually did manage to split up our phone number into words. And I think that why that has happened is it's actually gone ahead and seen how the date and time is being pronounced as 1 p.m. and it's actually already used this to convert it. So it actually worked quite well. But if I actually go ahead and remove this, we'll see what happens if I take that out and give it a save and see if it actually was using that part of the prompt to pronounce that. Hey, what's your phone number?
Oh, hey. Yeah, sure thing. You can reach us at 352-083-9668. Anything else I can help you with?
So as you can see there, that was, not as good as I did it the first time. And the reason for that was, once again, it's taking straight numbers and it's just outputting numbers. And it's not doing that as well as pronouncing it as text. So we're gonna add in an additional prompt to fix the phone number directly. That was sort of a fluke that it managed to pull up on the opening hours being presented better. Obviously, I would definitely not rely on that happening every single time. You wanna have a dedicated prompt for the opening hours, and you definitely would wanna have a dedicated prompt for the phone number However, as you start to scale this, you always got to have very strict rules for very strict and certain outputs. Definitely don't want to be relying on previous parts of the prompts. So you really got to be aware of what's doing what and why outputs of certain outputs are happening, because that could get quite confusing if you saw it work one time and then it won't next time. So once again, we're going to hop back into the Retell documentation with their prompt engineering tips, and they've got pronounced the phone numbers correctly in here. So if we go ahead and copy the first part of this prompt, you can go ahead and paste that here. What it's gone ahead and done is this part of the prompt is just when people ask about your phone number is this. So we'll just replace this with our phone number. Guess that's just a better way for it to pick up on something being a phone number. Like I had it before, it was just the phone number. It didn't actually even say it was a phone number, or that doesn't say it's an email, things like that. This is just going to help, once again, make it more reliable. You really want to be as concise as possible when you're prompting. You really got to think about this system prompt being seen by every type of person. You got to make it really dumbed down, to be honest, for any type of AI to understand exactly what you're looking for it to be the most reliable over time. So now the prompt should know exactly where the phone number is because it says it twice over. It's very clear, very direct. And now we're adding in some guidelines for our pronunciation. So if you don't know what these hashtags here for, these are markdown formatting, and that's just creating a headline. It's creating a heading to essentially set that this is a guideline. This is an important part of the prompt, and that beneath this guideline is a series of instructions that should be followed. And we've got, when speaking the phone number, transform the format as follows. Very clear. If there's a phone number, you got to follow these sets of instructions. Below this, input formats like this, as this, or this. So it's just giving it some context for a whole different variation of inputting phone numbers. Input formats like this for your phone number. We'll then grab this, and it's now saying input formats like this should be pronounced as 415, 892, 3245. So really similar prompt to what we've got up here, where it's just saying if you got a bunch of numbers, output those numbers as text and split it up like this for the person to hear. And then the last part of a prompt is important. Don't omit the space around the dash when speaking. So this is something they've added in. Maybe there's some issues with these dashes, but we'll see if we go ahead and give it a call and see what happens. Hey, what was your phone number?
Oh, hey. Yeah, our phone number is 352-083-9668. Let me know if you need me to repeat that or anything else.
And there you have it. That was far better than that other time we just did it with the numbers being output. It slowed down quite a lot. It said those numbers, in the way that it should have, with the three numbers, the next three numbers, and then the next four numbers. Split it up really nicely. It was really clear to understand. And we can even just ask it to repeat it if we really needed to, or someone to note that down. And that's really important when you're having these numbers in prompts. You really want to have a structure like this to output that better. And this is a really good way of doing that. And to be honest, from this guideline, they've actually only got one example in here, as this should be pronounced as 415, 892, 3245. I'd recommend adding in more examples than that. You'd probably want to add in, like I said, three to five examples, just as many as you can get for it to really be reliable. You want it to give it as many examples. It needs to be really clear that this is the output that you want. It's just the way that these systems work. We're using GPT-4o at the moment. It's not the smartest model. It's definitely not a dumb model. It can, for the most part, pick up on this, but you want to give it as much help as it can get. And now lastly, I'm going to go through how to help pronounce emails better. Now, this is one of the hardest things to do with AI voice agents. And to be honest, we typically recommend against trying to capture an email, as users can have such variations in email and complexity that it can become quite challenging even for a human to have a smooth conversation when exchanging email addresses. When prompting an email directly by typing the email address, the AI will do a pretty good job of reading it out in natural language, although it will be said quite quickly. So in most cases, when someone asks for an email from the business or has their own email repeated back to them, the user really needs to hear each letter used in the email clearly to write that down, capture it, or confirm that it's correct. So if you are required to capture an email, my first bit of advice is to see if you can use the phone number instead to create a contact or book an appointment or do whatever you intend to do. Although if you do wish to repeat an email or say an email in the conversation, here is the best way to do it. So on my prompt, I've got our email as emily.smith@bluerealestateagents.com. Let's just ask it out the gate with really no prompting whatsoever and see how it pronounces it. So before I run my test, I'm actually going to go ahead and remove some of the prompt engineering that we've previously done for pronunciations of some of the other elements of our prompts. The reason I'm doing this is I don't want any conflicting parts of it to make it seem better than it is. I'm just going to remove this, and we're going to do it really out of the gate with no prompting whatsoever. And we're going to see how this sounds. Hey, would I be able to get your email address?
Oh, hey there. Yeah, for sure. You can reach me at emily.smith@bluerealestateagents.com. Let me know if you need anything else.
So out of the gate, it was quite smooth. Obviously just reading it out as a natural conversation. It's emily.smith@bluerealestateagents.com. That's quite clear. And I think if you got a more complex email, that's where it starts to be more complicated. Obviously, this is a very simple email. It's very clear, emily.smith, few very basic names and also a very basic domain name. But as you start to get to domains that, even with the website address here, if I added in NY to our email, now we're going to have an issue where the abbreviation isn't going to get read properly. That's then going to be confusing for somebody going to need to send an email to this address. So let's see what happens now. Hey, would I be able to get your email address?
Oh, hey there. Yeah, of course. You can reach me at emily.smith@bluerealestateagentsny.com. Let me know if you need anything else, all right?
So you can see there, it's read it out. Obviously, once again, that's now improperly read out. bluerealestateagentsny.com. That's not going to be very clear as to somebody as to how that's spelled. If somebody knows of the website, they might be able to get it, but that's not a reliable measure, especially when you start to scale the system. And the use case that I'm demonstrating is just repeating an email from the business. But if you're building out an email system to capture someone's email and repeat it back to them, that's when it really gets complicated. So one way to solve this, head over to Retail's prompt engineering tips. Once again, really coming in clutch here with quite a few prompts that they've got. Copy this example and we'll see what happens with this prompt. So we'll just go under our contact, our email address. I'm going to paste this in here. The way they formatted it is simply just how to spell it out. Added a heading. Possible email format is name@company.com. To spell out an email address. To spell out an email address is name@company.com. They've split it up by a dash. They've added in the .com in text form, and then they've also added in is pronounced @at. So let's see what happens if we use this. Hey, what was your email?
Oh, hey. Yeah, sure thing. It's emily.smith@bluerealestateagentsny.com. So that's emile.smith@bluerealestateagentsny.com. Let me know if you need me to repeat that.
So you can see there that sort of made it better. Not really, to be honest. It just read through it letter by letter, but it did it really quickly. You wouldn't be able to capture that if you're on the phone with it. You wouldn't be able to write it down. You'd just be pretty weirded out as to why it's speaking so quickly. So there is a solution to this. Obviously, this was Retail's prompts, and I would recommend a bit different than this. And I do have a slightly modified prompt that I'm going to add in now, which does help to make it a bit easier to write down. So I'm going to place this completely. What I've gone ahead and replaced it with is kept the first two the same. The possible email format is name@company.com. To spell out an email address is name@company.com. So what I've changed is I've actually just taken first part of the email and I've added it in full caps. The benefit of using full caps is that it's going to read out each letter sort of quite a lot more independently. It's not going to just do it really quickly. That's going to help with slowing it down. I've also spaced it out and then added in the hyphens as well. And that's going to help, once again, slowing it down really to pronounce that email. I haven't done the end part of the email. I've just added the first name. We'll see what happens. Potentially you could add some more prompting in this as well to pronounce, like we added with our website address. If there's any sections of the email address that regular words, we can just pronounce them. And you can see here, we must read out the regular words like company or blue. Read them out with regular words like company or blue. So you can see there, we've just added in exact prompting for that. For names, you must read them out letter by letter. For example, BRENDAN. So, and then once again, @ is pronounced @. So let's see if that makes a difference. Hey, I was wondering if I could get your email address.
Oh, hey. Yeah, sure thing. It's emily.smith@bluerealestateagentsny.com. So that's EMILY.SMITH@bluerealestateagentsny.com. Got it? Let me know if you need me to repeat it.
So there you go. That is really the best way to output these emails. Obviously, it's very detectable as an AI system or an automated system at that stage. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Capturing emails are difficult. That's a way that we can really slow it down. So, you can have it quickly or you can have it slowed down. And this is the way to do that, to have it slowed down. So obviously somebody can come through and listen to that and note down an email. And if they're paying attention, you can obviously tell how the email is spelled and capture that correctly. So this is a system that will work reliably. It just comes down to whether or not you want to have the system output the email in that way. And if you want to essentially not do it at all, or you want to have it quickly or not quickly, and it also depends on your use case. So if you're outputting like this, a really simple email, if it's just emily.smith@bluerealestateagents.com, you might not need it to output so precisely. You could just have it to read it and whatever. But I'd say the main use case for repeating the email is if somebody was to provide their email and have it repeated back to them. So let's test that out. Hey, Emily, I just wanted to give you my email. It's brendan@inflate.agency.
Oh, got it. So your email is BRENDAN@INFOINFL.
No, sorry, that's not correct. No, it's brendan@inflate.agency. Agency. So you get the point. That is, once again, it's helpful that we were able to tell, okay, no, that's obviously not correct. If it wrote it out really quickly, maybe we would have been able to tell, especially for my name. There's about 3 different ways you can spell it, whether it's Brendan, Brandon, or whatever. These systems with a transcriber, it's difficult to detect that, and having it repeated out word by word is kind of critical. If you're going to be running a scaled system that's running hundreds, thousands of calls with all different types of people, you're going to kind of need a system like this to do that. And at the moment, this is the best way to do it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope it was helpful in understanding how to prompt these voice agents. If you did want to learn more about building AI voice agents, I've actually released a 2-hour masterclass on building AI voice agents. I definitely recommend checking that out.